eventually you're going to renovate into a small hotel. In today's class, we're going to continue adding to that as-built drawing by adding the as-built structure. Okay, so we need to add structure to our building so that later on when we start doing our working drawings and we start doing cross sections and details, our structure is already positioned or placed inside the building. Okay, so what we're going to take a look at today again is adding structure. So the basic structural elements that we are going to add to our model are the following. We're going to put structural columns as opposed to the decorative columns that you put in the previous step. So we'll add structural columns, we'll put foundation, footings, and isolated piers, as well as beams and joists. Okay, so that's the structural. We'll also add some structural floor slabs, as well as some structural roof slabs as well. That's what we're going to take a look at today. Alright, so that's going to be our end result. Chances are we're not going to do the whole entire building in terms of every single column, every single joist. Okay, but we'll probably do a couple typical bays. Alright, so the first thing we're going to put in, before we do that however, okay, please open up this file, week 5 lecture dash start. What we've done in this file, or what I've done in this file, is simply done two things. I put a grid on. Okay, a structural grid, and if you go to the east elevation, I put in 3 heights there. Okay, so I put in the first floor, second floor, and roof level, all 15 feet apart. Alright, let's go back to the first floor, and can you do me a favor? We're not going to use grid line 6, okay? We're not going to put some slanted columns in here. You don't have those in your assignment. So let's go ahead and just delete, okay, can you just please delete grid line 6. Alright, now, before we go ahead and start putting our structural members into this file, the first thing I want to do is I want to create some structural floor plans. You all know that we have just some regular floor plans here. These are more your architectural floor plans. And then we also have ceiling plans as well. Okay? What I want to do is I want to separate all my structural members onto a structural floor plan, just so that the regular floor plans don't get too intense. Alright, so here's how you create structural plans. Please go up to your View tab. In your Create panel, you will see Plan Views. Please click on the Plan Views, and you will see Structural Plan. Please click on the Structural Plans, and let's make a structural plan for all our levels. So hold down your Shift key, select the last one, so that you have all of them selected. Let's go ahead now, click OK. Alright, so now on top of your floor plans here, expand it, and you should now have some start of structural plan. Let's go to our first floor structural plan. Now, let's go ahead and minimize the other plans just so that we don't accidentally go into those plans and start adding structure to it. Okay? So again, we're in our first floor structural plan. Now, the first thing that we're going to put in is we're going to put in all the vertical members that are going to be structural. Okay? The first one obviously is a simple column. Okay, now this column that we're going to put in is not going to be a decorative column. It's actually going to be a structural column. So here's what I'd like you to do. All the commands that we're looking at today are all under the Structure tab. Okay, so no longer are we going into the Architecture tab today. It's all Structural tab. Okay, all right, and right there is your structural column. Please click on Column command, and you'll see in your Properties panel there are a couple W-shaped columns that we can choose from. Okay, relatively small columns here for our large building. So we're going to load in a family. Okay, so let's all go under Load Family. All right, now this is an Imperial file, so let's go to our US Imperial folder. Take a step back if you wish. And now the structural columns are not under the Column command. Those are all architectural decorative columns. I want you to scroll down And everything we're looking at today in terms of structure are in one of these structural folders, okay? So we are, of course, looking at structural columns. So let's go into structural columns. And the column we're going to choose is a steel column. All right, so you can see here, there's a wide variety of different types of columns that you could choose from. The column I want you to use is, let's go into the wide flange column. So WWF, welded wide flange column. See, it's kind of like H channel or an I column. All right, let's go into there. Load that in. All right, and then we can go ahead and choose what column we want. Now, normally, in a typical project, the structural engineer is the one who chooses the column, or perhaps even the steel fabricator would be the one to choose the column. Okay, in your assignment, you're just going to now, again, all of these sizes are all based on loads, right? Based on the size of the building, based on the what it's supporting, okay? So for us, okay, we're not really choosing it based on those elements. We're probably choosing it based on size for now, okay? So for this particular exercise, I want you to choose the WWF 18337, okay? So 18 all the way down, okay, WWF 18337. Okay, now why did I choose this? Random, okay? Pretty much random. You can actually see the size of it is right here. There's the depth and the width of it. So it's approximately almost 1.5 feet by 1.5 feet is the size of this column. All right, now that we have it, let's go ahead and load it in. You should now see the column should now appear on your cursor. And now let's control the height of this column, okay? So right up here in your options bar, okay, we can control the height. Now currently it says depth, so please change that to height. And this particular column is going to go from the first floor, which we're at, to only the second floor, okay? So make the height go from the first floor to the second floor. All right, now there are two ways of putting down a column. The first way is simply just choosing where you want to place it, okay? I want to place it right along grid line A at intersection 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? So simply make sure that you are selecting both grid lines so you know you're picking the intersection, and then just go ahead and place it down. Press escape once you've done that. All right, so that's one way. Just picking an intersection, okay, of two grid lines and positioning it there. Now, I want to put the same row along D. Okay, now let me show you how to do this one much quicker. Let's again go to our column command. So we're under structure, column. We'll use that same size. We'll use that same height. But this time, instead of manually picking each one, I want you to use the option called Add Grids. So please click on Add Grids, and then I want you to select grid lines D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So here's how you do it. Let's use a crossing window. So go from right to left, okay, and touch all of those grid lines. So D, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let go. There you go. And now don't put anything on B and C yet. Okay, those are going to be different heights. Okay, so now click finish. Okay, so now press escape. All right, and let's look at it in 3D. Right, so there we go. We've got our outside columns showing. Let's go back to the first floor. Now for the inside columns, I want those to be 2 levels high. So it's going to go from the first floor, which we're at, all the way to the roof level. Okay, so now again, let's go to our column command. All right, again, we're going to use the same column type, but this time for the height, I want you to change it to roof. All right, we're going to use the same Add Grids method, and please choose grid lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as well as B and C. Use your crossing window to cross over grid lines 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and B and C. All right, there you go. Finish it, press escape, and view it in 3D. Any questions on adding columns? All right, great. Let's go back to our first floor plan. The next thing we're going to add, okay, is we're going to add a foundation wall, okay? And this foundation wall is going to sit, okay, along the exterior of this building, okay? Now, in your assignment, we're not using columns to support our exterior, okay? We're using the wall to support our exterior. So your exterior wall will be your structural member in your assignment. So you're not gonna have columns on the outside, okay? But you will have a wall that you need to put a foundation under, okay? So let me show you how to add a foundation wall. To add a foundation wall, it's under the wall command. Now, very important, before we do this, we have to add the bottom, a level for the bottom of our foundation wall. Remember, our foundation wall will go downwards, okay, into the ground, obviously. So let's go to our east elevation. Oh, by the way, before we do that, go back to first floor. I just want to show you one thing. You'll notice that when we look at our columns, they're really just 3 hard lines. Okay, if you want to see the actual column and its size, please change your detail level to fine. When you set your detail level to fine, you can actually see the thickness of all our web and our column. Okay, same holds true when you go to the east elevation. You'll notice that your columns look like just lines. Set your detail level to fine, and you can see, you'll be able to see the size of those columns. All right, so on your east elevation, we're going to add one more level here. This will be for the top of the footings level, or the bottom of your foundation wall. Okay, so let's go to our level command. So you'll notice under structure, there's still a datum level command. So click onto that. And we need to go a minimum of 4 feet below the frost line, so let's just go 6 feet. Okay, let's go down 6 feet. Okay. Align it with both ends. Press escape a few times, and let's rename it. You'll see it'll say -6. Okay, and let's rename it top of footings. Capital letters, P.O.footings.
Central?
Yeah.
So it said, would you like to rename
Yes,
the
Mom.
corresponds to view? We say yes or no.
Sorry, what was that?
The window shows, would you like to rename corresponding views?
Of course.
Yes.
All right. So here's a minor change that we normally don't do. When we create walls, we know walls go upwards. Okay? So normally if we were to create a wall on the first floor, we would be on the first floor and we'd generate that wall. So it might be advisable, or you may think, okay, well, we're creating a wall that's going to start on the top of the footing, so we should be on the top of footings level and create that wall. But the problem with that is you're not going to see your exterior wall, where you're going to place it, right? So what I'd like to do, because this is what you're going to do for your assignment later on, is you need to be on the first floor level. Okay? Be on the first floor level, just because then you'd be able to see your exterior wall. And what we're going to do here from the first floor, instead of normally, like I said, if I wanted to create that wall going upwards, I'd be on the top of footings level and create it there. Okay, but what we're going to do is we're going to create it from the first floor, but we're going to start it at the top of footings level. Okay, so let's go ahead. to create this, it's just a wall. Okay, so let's click onto the wall command. And then scroll down the list of wall types. And we're going to choose 12-inch, okay, foundation, 12-inch concrete. Okay, 12-inch concrete. In your assignment, actually, your walls are 12 inches, so they're perfect. Your exterior walls are 12 inches thick, so this is going to be perfect. It's going to fit, okay, along your assignment walls. All right. So once we have that, now let's work out our properties here. So location line, let's choose wall center line. I'm just going to center it along the grid line. It's going to start. Now here's the change. Normally we started on the first floor, whichever level we're at. This time I'm going to start it at the top of footings. The base offset's going to be 0. I want it to start at the top of footings. And it's going to end at my first floor. So you should see that this wall is 6 feet high. Okay, that's the distance between our top of footings level and our first floor. All right, so now we're ready to create the wall. Now, I can use my line tool and trace around the entire perimeter, or use your rectangle tool since this building is rectangular. All right, and then simply go into here, okay, and pick the midpoint. And then move your mouse to the opposite diagonal corner. Zoom in and choose that column's midpoint. Alright, once you're done that, press escape. Okay. Now again, for your assignment later on, you're going to trace around, okay, your exterior wall. Okay, and for your assignment, you're not going to use wall center line. Okay, you can either use finish face exterior and trace around the exterior of the building, or you're going to use finish face interior and trace around the interior of the exterior wall. All right, so now if I look at it in 3D, you can see there is my foundation wall. Okay, and if I go to my east elevation, you can see my foundation wall starts at my top of footings level to my first floor level. Bear with us. Next, we're going to add a footing to this foundation wall. And what the footing does, it simply takes the load and applies it to a larger area. Okay, so again, we're putting a footing underneath the foundation wall. Now, in order for me to add a footing, you must have a foundation wall. A footing can only be placed on a foundation wall. All right, so here's how we create footings. I'd like you to go under the foundation panel, under structure, foundation, and they actually call it wall, okay, which I don't like because it's not a foundation wall, it's a footing. Okay, but anyways, let's click on wall. And you can see here that we have a bearing footing 36 inches by 12 inches. So 36 is its width, 12 inches is its depth. Okay, it's a little too big for this, so let's go ahead and do an edit type, duplicate, and let's go ahead and do a 24-inch by 12-inch. Okay, so change the name, 24-inch by 12-inch. Once you've changed the name, go ahead now and change the width. Okay, so we're changing the width from 3 feet to 2 feet. Click OK. All right, now, here's how easy it is to add a foundation wall or a footing to a foundation wall. All you got to do, again, A, choose the type you want, and B, select your foundation wall. Go around the perimeter of the building, okay, and add your foundation wall or your footings to your foundation. escape. Okay, orbit around so you can see there's my. And again, you can make that whatever size you wanted it to be. We changed it from 36 to a 24. And again, it must be applied to a foundation wall only. Any questions on adding a foundation wall and footings? All right, next. Now, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add what are called isolated piers, okay? So these isolated piers are actually going to be the structural members that are going to support all our columns, okay? Now this isolated pier is comprised of two entities, okay? We're going to create the pier itself, that's the long one there, and then we're also going to create the pad, okay? The pad is very much like a footing, okay? So we're going to create that. Now, this is called a footing rectangular, both parts. One is going to be 24 inch by 24 inch by 15 feet. That's the longer one, the narrow, longer one. And then the pad is going to be a 48 inch by 48 inch by 12 inches. Okay? Those are the isolated piers that we're going to create. We're going to start by putting in the pads. Okay? So the pads are going to be at the top of footings level. Alright, so let's all go to our top of footings level, and at each grid line, we're going to add a pad. Okay, so this is called, under your structure tab in your foundation panel, it's called isolated. Okay, please click on isolated. Now, when you click on isolated, it tells you that there are no preloaded isolated foundations. Okay, so we got to load it in. So click yes to load it in. Okay, take a step back. Or sorry, 2 steps back, go back into your US Imperial. Scroll down and it's under structural foundations. Structural foundations. And it's the very first one on the list, footing rectangular. Choose that. Again, there are various sizes here, but again, we're going to edit it. Okay, so let's click on Edit Type, duplicate, and this one is going to be a 48 inch by 48 inch by 12 inches. Again, 48 by 48 by 12 inches. Click OK, and make those changes. So the thickness is going to be 12 inches or 1 foot. The width will be 4 feet, and the length will be also 4 feet. Okay, so there's your 48 by 48 by 12. Click OK. There it is. And again, 2 ways of applying it. Don't do it this way. We can put it on every grid line. Okay, or there's my grid, @grid command again. Click on @grid and then choose. Now this time we're going to put it on all the grid lines. Okay, so let's choose all the grid lines. There we go. Click finish. Press escape. Okay, so if you view that in 3D, okay, there are our paths. Now, please make a note, okay, that these isolated piers or footings, okay, are actually traveling downwards, okay? So if you take a look at your east elevation, okay, you can see there's the pad right there, okay, and you can see it traveled downwards, top of footings. Okay? So that means when I do the other one, okay, the one in, obviously in between here, the more narrow one, I need to be on the first floor level. Okay, please click onto the first floor level. All right, and let's create this. So again, we're going to go to Foundation, Isolated. We're going to do an Edit Type, Duplicate, Now this one is going to be a 24 inch by 24 inch. Okay, by 6 feet. So that obviously was the depth of our top of footings level. Okay, 6 feet. Alright, click OK. And make those changes. So foundation thickness is now 6 feet. Width is now 2 feet. And height is now 2 feet. Click OK. Alright. Now, normally I would get you to do the at grid. Okay, but the at grid will not work because we already did an at grid on this level for our columns, right? These columns were used at grid. So unfortunately, you're only able to do an at grid on a floor plan once. Okay, if there's something already there, you can't do another at grid. Okay, so for this one here, we can do two things. I can put it down, I could array it. Okay, multiple copy, or let's just go ahead, doesn't take us that long, just go ahead and put them on all our grid lines. Okay, so if you want to do array, you're more than welcome to. I'm just going to go around each of my grid lines and put a sphere on. Escape once you're done. Alright, so now if we look at it in 3D, there you go. We've got our isolated piers along with our isolated footings applied to the base of our columns. Any questions? Alright, now normally to adhere the column to the isolated pier, I would add a metal connection there. And add a base plate. Okay, but we're not going to get that detailed in our drawings. Okay, you can see here there is a command called connections. Okay, so that if we wanted to connect things together, we can. Okay, but again, we're not going to get that detailed with our structure. Okay, we're not putting in our connections. All right, so that concludes the vertical members. Okay, that concludes the vertical members that take the load. Now we're going to take a look at our horizontal members. Those obviously are called beams. Okay, so a beam is a horizontal member that travels from column to column. Okay, so we've got some columns here. Let's go to our second floor. We're going to we'll start on the second floor and we're going to put in beams. All right. Alright, I want you to change your detail level again to fine. Okay, so again, we can see our columns here. Alright, now we're going to put in our beams. Okay, so let's click onto our beam command. And again, there are some beams available. That's not the size I want. So let's go ahead and load it. Okay, so please go to Load Family. All right, take a step back. Go back to your US Imperial folder. And your beams are under Structural Framing. Structural Framing. So again, our structural columns were under Structural Column. Our piers were under Structural Foundation. And lastly, our beams are under Structural Framing. Let's go to Steel. All right, and again, you can see all the various types of beams we could choose from. You can even see that we've got some open web steel joists here as well. Okay, here's the one we're going to use. Okay, for the main beams, go all the way to the bottom here. and we're going to use a W wide flange. Alright, click open. Alright, and the one we're going to load in is a W2157. W2157. Okay, now the key element to this beam is the depth of the beam. Okay, you can see the depth of the beam here is 1 foot, 1 foot 9 inches. Okay, a little over 1 foot 9 inches is the depth of the beam. As you get lower and lower, the depths will decrease. Okay, so let's choose that one. Click OK. We've now loaded it in. There it is, W2157. All right. Alright, so one way of putting in a beam, simply go from column to column. So find the midpoint of this column, find the midpoint of this column, there's your beam. Press escape once you're done. Okay, there's your beam. If I view it in 3D, okay, there's my beam right there. Now, again, please do not be alarmed that there is a big gap there. Okay, because that big gap is reserved for putting in your connections. Okay, but again, we're not going to get that detail. Okay, so you'll just leave it like that in your model. Okay, we're not going to add connections to it. All right, so that's one way. Let's go back to the second floor. Okay, just put it in. Okay, from column to column. The other way, delete that one. Delete that one. The other way is by putting it in. So let's go again. Let's go to beam. And put it in on grid. Okay, now one thing about a beam, remember what I said. A beam can only go from one column to another. If you don't have a column on that grid, the beam will not be created. Okay, you must have a column. Okay, so which means in your assignment today, let me just quickly show you one thing, okay, because this is where people struggled on the assignment. Okay, this is what your will eventually look like. Picture right down here. All right. As I mentioned, there will be your exterior wall will act as your load, as your column on the exterior of your building. So you can see in this diagram here, there are no columns on the exterior wall. Because again, your exterior wall is load bearing. So when you create these beams that travel from a column to the exterior wall, you can't use this on grid method because there's no column on the ends. So for these ones here, you have to physically draw them, just like I showed you the first way of doing it. You simply draw it from your column to the inside of your exterior wall. Okay. But for our example here, okay, we're going to use at grid. Go ahead now and select all your grid lines. Okay, there's all our column, or our beam, sorry. Click finish. Okay, and there we go. Press escape. You should be able to see. Zoom out. Okay, there's all our supporting beams. All right, next. Let's put them on our roof level. Okay, let's put them on our roof level. So let's go to our roof structural plan. Okay, now that's only going to go along these columns here. Again, let's set our detail level to 5. And let's add the same beams to these grid lines. So let's again go beam. Again, we're using the 21 by 57. Use the on-grid method and place it down the center. Okay, so it's just along grid lines BC. There we go. Finish it. Press escape. Okay, and again, there we go. Any questions on adding beams from column to column? All right, next. All right, in between these beams, okay, so see my notes here. In between these beams, we're going to support our floor slab with joists, okay? So we're going to use right here, open web steel joists. Now, open web steel joists go from beam to beam, okay? So again, beams go from column to column, okay? Joists go from beam to beam, okay? So you gotta make sure you have your beams in first before you put in your joists. All right, here we go. Now, we could do this in two ways. Let's start on the second floor level. We'll do it on the second floor first. All right, to put in your beam, we could do it in two ways. We can go to the beam command, load in the beam, okay, and then put each beam one at a time, okay? Or we can create what are called beam systems, okay? Beam systems are multiple beams put in within a given area, okay? And we can space them at a clear spacing of whatever distance you'd like to separate them, okay? So we're gonna do a beam spacing or a beam system here, okay? Now, before we do that, however, you'll notice if I go into the beam system command, there is no load family here, okay? So we need to load in the beam type first before we can use this beam system command. So let's press escape. Let's get into the original beam command so that we can load family. Click on load family, okay, and this is the steel beam that we're gonna use, okay? K-series bar joist angled web, okay? So again, K-series bar joist angled web. All right, load that in. And the size that we're going to do is we're gonna use a 12K1. So you can see the 12K1, and again, the important part about a beam is its depth. Okay, so this one here is 1 foot exactly. All right, let's go ahead and load that in. Okay, and you can see there it is. Okay, 12K1. And again, we could go and put in our beams one at a time and try to equally space them, but that would take a lifetime. Okay, so let me show you how to do it. Okay, so press escape now. Now that we have the beam loaded, we're not going to draw them one at a time. We're now going to use the beam system command. Now, in order for the beam system command to work, we have to derive a boundary. Okay, we have to derive a boundary. Now, the boundary can be created by an automatic method or a sketch method. The automatic method can only work if you have a closed area that is closed by beams, which in our case we do. Okay, we have all these closed areas here, all these bays that have beams on all four sides. So we can use the automatic method. You can see here. There you go. Oh, before I do that, let's space them in the what we want them to be. So justification center. Let's use center. Let's use clear spacing. Clear spacing means equal spacing. Okay? No more than 6 feet apart. Okay, so don't equally space them no more than 6 feet apart. So here we go. Okay, and you can see right there. Okay, if I wanted to go horizontal, I'd pick a horizontal member. If I wanted to go vertical, I'd pick a vertical member. Okay, let's make all these go horizontal. Okay, so we just pick there. Okay, and then we continue all the way. Okay. Now again, we could have did one and array it. It's just as fast to just select each of your bays. Oops, put one in the wrong spot there. Gotta be cautious that you don't end up putting it in the wrong bay. Alright, press escape once you're done. view it in 3D. Now, let's go back to our second floor. Okay, and here's what I want you to do. Let's delete one of these bays. Yeah, okay. So to delete one, you don't delete one beam at a time. Okay, delete the whole system. Okay, so right here, right there, define, there's the system right there. Okay, select it and press delete. Okay, get rid of it. Because what I want to show you now is how to do it the sketch method. Okay, because for your assignment later on, you're not going to have a beam on the outside. Okay, you're not going to have a beam on the outside. So for those bays along the outside, you can't do the automatic method because you don't have a beam. Okay, so what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to resort to using the sketch method. Okay, so please click on to beam system again. Okay, and then go to your sketch beam system tool. So now, okay, by the way, there's the clear spacing and 6 feet layout rule right there. Okay, let's go ahead and draw a rectangle. And again, we just go from midpoint of column or endpoint of column to midpoint of column. Okay, right there. Now, very important, press escape once you've drawn that rectangle. Okay? Right here is the direction in which you want your beams to go. Okay, if it's in the wrong direction, I'll just show you. You just go beam direction and choose the opposite direction. Okay, if you wanted your beams to go this way. Okay, but mine, I wanted it to go that way. So that's fine. All right, and then now go ahead, click finish. Okay, your beams will go. And it'll also give you nice labels there. Okay, I'm just going to delete the labels so we don't have to put the labels in. All right, so that again is utilizing the sketch method, and you'll have to do that for all the ones on the inside that have beams on the inside. That's no problem. But the ones that you will not have beams on the exterior, you're going to have to use the sketch method to create that boundary. Any questions? All right, let's view this in 3D. Again, there's all our beam systems. All right, now very important. We're going to put in, eventually, we're going to put in, if you look at it on the east elevation, please, can you all go to your east elevation? And can you please set your visual style to wireframe? So that we can actually see all these beams and joists. There they are. Let's zoom in. All right. Now, here's the issue that we're going to have. If I put a floor slab on here, okay, that floor slab is going to start on the second floor and travel upwards or downwards. Okay, floor slabs travel upwards or downwards. Floor slabs travel up or down? Anyone?
Up.
Downwards. Okay, floor slab travel downwards. Alright, so if I put a floor slab on the second floor, it's going to intersect these beams and this joist. Okay, so what I have to do now is I have to drop these beams down. How far down? The thickness of my floor slab. Now the thickness of my floor slab we're going to use for this exercise as well as yours. We're going to use the 3-inch lightweight concrete on 2-inch metal deck floor slab. So that's going to be a total thickness of 5 inches. Okay, so we got to drop all our beams down by 5 inches. Here's how you drop a beam. I want you just to select the primary beam first. Select the primary beam. Go into your properties panel, and it's called Z offset value right here. Z offset value. And we're going to go downwards. Okay, so we're gonna type -5 inches. Okay, apply it, and you'll see that your beam has now dropped. Okay. Now, to do this for all of them, okay, I don't want to do them one at a time, so set that back to 0. I'm going to do them all at once. Okay, we'll do them all at once. So, please go to your second floor level. This is where all these beams are. And I want to select only the beams. Again, I want to select only the beams, not the columns, not the grid lines. Okay, but here's the problem. If I put a window around this, obviously you'll notice I'm going to be selecting all the columns. Okay, so we can't, that property is not available for us to drop those beams because we're selecting other elements besides beams. Alright, so here's what I'd like you to do. We're going to have to isolate all our beams. So select one beam, doesn't matter which one. Okay, select one of your beams. Go down to your eyeglasses here, your temporary hide and isolate. And let's isolate the category. Isolate the category. So that all your beams will be the only thing left on your drawing. Alright, now that all our beams are there, we can now put a window around everything. Okay, we've now selected all our beams. And now right here, there it is, Z offset value. Can we please type -5 inches? Again, don't forget the inch symbol. Alright. There you go, apply it, or put your mouse on the screen. There we go. Let's reset our temporary dimensions, or temporary height. Let's reset our temporary height. Now go to your east elevation, and you should now see that we have now left room enough to put our foundation, or our floor slab. Okay. Now, for this one up here, we don't need to drop that down. Why? Because this is supporting a roof. Okay, if you recall, roofs travel upwards. Okay, so floor slabs go downwards, roofs go upwards. Okay, so therefore that level at the top, the roof level, we don't need to drop that down. Okay, so we do need to add some joists to that. So let's go to our roof level. Okay, now we do have beams on all four, so we can use the automatic method here. Okay, so let's go to our beam system command. Again, we're going to use the 12K1 beam type, centered, with clear spacing of 6 feet. Alright, use our automatic method. And apply your beams. Press escape a few times, so now we can view it again. Okay, so there we go. Oh, actually, you know what? I wanted those to go in the other direction. Sorry. Okay, so I'm going to select it. Let's see. Just go edit that. Yeah. Okay. So please do this, please. Okay, we're gonna make it travel in the other direction. Okay. So here's what I want you to do: select the beam system. I wonder if I can do this all at once. No, we'll have to do it one at a time. Okay. You know what? It's probably just easier. Just delete those beam systems. Okay, and we'll just put them in again in the other direction. So again, beam system, automatic method, make it go vertical, please. Just because we're going to do some slope ones that are going to align with this one. Alright, finish that. There we go. Next, we'll put the floor slab in and then we'll take a little break. Okay, so let's go to our second floor level. Oh, before we do that, okay, we're at our second floor level. Okay? The beams that appear on this second floor would be the same as the beams that would be on the first floor. Okay, so before I put a floor slab in here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy all of these beams to the first floor. Okay, so here's what I'd like you to do. Go to the second floor level. Isolate your beams. Okay, so select one beam. Alright, then go to your eyeglasses down here and isolate the category. Once you're done that, go ahead and copy or select them all. And then we're gonna do a copy to clipboard. Okay, so right here in your clipboard option, we're gonna click copy to clipboard. So please select that. And then we're going to do a paste to selected level. So expand your paste command and choose align to selected level. And we're going to copy that to the first floor. Click OK. Alright. There we go. Alright, so go ahead and close that. If you get that error, don't worry. Okay, press escape. Alright, and now let's view it in 3D. Oh, let's get back all our entities. Reset. Okay, view it in 3D. Okay, there they are. Where'd they go? Looks like only the beams came in. The beam system didn't come in. Okay, well, let me try. Let me try it from here. Okay, I'm going to pick a beam system. I'm going to copy it to my clipboard, and I'm going to paste it to align selected level, and I'll go to my first floor. Oh, there you go. So it worked there. Strange. Okay, well, let's go. I'll do it all at once. I'm going to undo that. Okay, I'm going to go to my second floor. This time I'm going to just isolate my beam systems, okay? So choose a beam system. Don't just choose one beam. Choose a beam system. Isolate it. Isolate category. Reset. Did I pick category or
So
element?
you can still select everything, it just doesn't show up right away on your screen, but if you do your window around it, you can select all the systems.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Okay,
showed
so I
us
isolate, but were you able to isolate just
Yeah.
the beam systems?
It'll be just the one, and then once you isolate the one, you can do the window. Once you start dragging your window,
Yeah, okay.
everything will highlight.
Alright, thank you. Alright, so pick it, isolate category. Okay, and then select it all. There we go. Alright, copy it, copy the clipboard, and then paste, align to selected level, and go first floor. I'll reset. Do it in 3D. Perfect. Thank you. And again, don't worry about how they connect. Okay, don't worry about how they connect. And we normally would put a connection here. Okay, but again, we're not going to get that detailed with our structure. And let's just double check. You should see, yeah, this one here did drop down. It still has the same properties. You can see it did drop down -5. So perfect. We have enough room there, okay, to put our floor slabs. All right, real quick. Let's do it on our first floor. Let's go to our first floor. Okay, and let's just put a floor slab here. All right. For your floor slab, please go under structure. There's floor. As mentioned, we're going to use a 3-inch lightweight concrete on 2-inch metal deck. Use your rectangle tool. Okay, started at this intersection or this endpoint or midpoint. Draw your rectangle. Now, very important, do not click finish until I ask you to. Okay, so find a point there. Now, very important. Okay, press escape. Look at the direction that our metal decking is going. Okay, it's going in this direction. That's wrong for this floor plan because your metal decking should be perpendicular to your joists. So your metal decking should travel in this direction. That's because it's the shortest span. Okay, so let's change our span direction. So right here, span direction. Make sure it is going this way. Okay, make sure that it is traveling perpendicular to your open web steel joist. All right, now click finish. All right, say no to this, don't attach. All right, there we go. Let's view it in 3D. There's our floor slab there. Let's take that floor slab and copy it, okay, up one level. Take your floor slab, copy to clipboard, paste, align to selected level, and please copy it to the second floor level. So if I look at that from my east elevation, okay, there's my floor slab right there, resting nicely on top of my beams and my joists. All right, let's do a quick save here. I'm just changing my name because I don't want to override my file. All right, let's take a 10-minute break. When we come back, we'll take a look at adding our roofs to this structure. Okay? Trusses. Okay, so you can see in my notes here. Okay, we're gonna put in some sloped trusses here for the side eventual roof. All right. All right, so here's what I'd like you to do. Please go to your roof level. Now, unfortunately, you cannot, when we created these beams, these open web steel choice beams, we did it by utilizing a beam system. Okay, unfortunately, you cannot slope a beam system. So for this one here, we're going to do one beam and then we're gonna copy it. Okay? Here we go. Go to your beam command, and the open web steel joist is the 12K1, okay, that we loaded in. And here's all I want you to do. Okay, zoom in. We're gonna start it right at the end point here or intersection. Okay, and then we'll bring it vertically all the way down until you hit this grid line. All right, so create one right. Okay, press escape once you're done. Okay, let's go into our 3D view. Okay, you should see it right over here. So you can see again, it's horizontal right now. Okay, so earlier I taught you how to drop a beam down. Okay, but the way we drop, go ahead and select that beam. The way we dropped that beam down was utilizing the Z offset value. Okay, that makes the whole beam come down. Okay, all I want is this end here to drop. So here's how you make one side drop only. Okay, if you go up here in your properties panel, you'll see right here, start level offset. That is going to be the elevation of your start point. Remember where we started this beam? We started it here and drew it here. So that's your start. Your end is also at 0. That's the one I want to change. Okay, I'm going to drop this down minus 15 feet. Okay, apply it. Okay, and you'll see just one side drop down. go into our roof level and let's array this. Okay, so let's click onto it. Go to our array command. So you'll see array is right here. We're just going to array it in this one bay. Okay, so there'll be 3 items in total. Okay. Pick a base point, doesn't matter where. And then we're going to span it. I think it was, oh, this is equal spacing, right? It wasn't a fixed distance. Okay, never mind. Press escape. You just have to copy it. Okay. So I want you to select it. Well, actually, we could array it from here to here. Okay. Pick that. Okay. So array. Okay. Three objects. Okay. And then just make sure that you're picking, whatever point you're picking the same point over here. Okay, so I think there was an endpoint I found here. Right there, there's an endpoint there, so I'm going to pick that endpoint there. And then I'll move it to this endpoint, the same displacement distance. Okay, right there. Press enter to accept 3. Okay, so right there, let's go ahead and view it. Same thing with the beam. Okay, if I wanted to put that large beam, let's go to our roof level again. Okay, we're gonna put that large beam here. So again, we're gonna go to beam. Okay, that was the W2157. Again, I'm gonna start it from this beam here. Okay, to my grid line. And again, I'm going to drop that one down only on one side, the end level side. Drop that down again, minus 15 feet. And again, we're not going to put in our connections here, but normally when we put the connection in, it would solve that, okay, that look. Coping will fix that. Just give me 1 sec. I just want to see if coping will fix it. Alright. So same thing, if I wanted to do it on that side, I could copy that over. Okay, but let me now show you how to put in the roofs here. Okay? So remember, we don't have to drop any of these beams down because roofs travel upwards. Okay, so all I want to do here, we'll start on the roof level. We're just going to put a roof along here, and then we're going to put a sloped roof along here, or a shed roof along here. All right, so let's go to our now roof is odd. Roof does not have a command in the structures area. Okay, so we're going to have to go to the architecture area and click roof by footprint. All right, now we're going to choose this roof type right here. Steel truss insulation on metal deck, okay? But here's the difference. I don't need that steel truss, okay? That steel truss is their structural member. I don't need that because I already have my open web steel joists and my beams there. Okay, so we're gonna modify this one. Click on it, edit type, duplicate, and just take away the steel truss. Take away the steel truss in the name. Click OK. And then go to structure, edit, and please remove, there it is right there. Okay, it's a 1 foot 4 inch steel joist. We're going to remove that structure. Okay, so select that structure and delete it. Okay, so now we've got metal deck with insulation and roof membrane. Perfect. Okay. Go ahead and okay that. Okay it. There we go. We're now using with no steel truss. And then again, just like creating a floor, okay, turn off the define slope button, please. First one we're going to do is this one right here, which is a flat roof. Okay, so turn off the define slope button. use your rectangle tool, and again, we'll just go from center of that, Alright, click finish. There we go. Do that in 3D. Okay, there's our roof. And again, if I look at it from my east elevation, you can see there's my roof slab right there. Okay, it goes upwards. Okay, so I didn't have to drop my beams down on the roof level. Okay, similar to your assignment, don't drop your beams down on the roof level, only on the first and second floor. Or sorry, only on, yours only one floor, so only on the first floor. Alright, lastly, we need to put a roof on top of this area here. Okay, so here we go. Let's do this from the second floor level. Okay, there's our beams right there, our open wet steel joist. And here we go. Alright, so let's go to, again, roof by footprint. Again, we'll use the same one. Again, this is going to be a slope roof, but we're not going to slope it by defining the slope. We're going to slope it by using a slope arrow. Okay, if you recall, this is the way to create shed roofs. Okay, so go ahead, draw a rectangle. And again, similar to what we did when we did the flat roof. Okay, but this time we're going to slope it with a slope arrow. Click onto your slope arrow command and just go from one end to the other. Okay, so just doesn't matter where, just go from one end to the other. Alright, the tail elevation is going to be 0, and the head elevation is going to be 15 feet. Okay, that's the distance from your second floor to your roof level. Alright, click finish. Alright, so if I view it in 3D, alright, there's our roof. So very basic structural elements that we looked at in this assignment here. Okay. Again, exactly the same. Let's go ahead and save this. Okay. What we did today's class, you're going to do exactly the same thing for your as-built. Okay, here's what you're going to do. So this is step 2 of assignment 2. Okay, assignment 1, step 1 last week was creating the as-built. Okay, for step 2, you're going to add the following structural elements to your hotel. Structural columns. You're going to keep the architectural columns. So those columns that you put in last week with the drywall on the outside, keep them for now. They will be removed at a later time. When we do our demolition plans, I want to remove those to incorporate new columns. Alright, but for now, leave them in there. Okay? We're going to also add foundation, footing and piers, beams, joists, roofs, or floors and roofs. So exactly what we did in today's class, and obviously you're going to do it on your building. Now, a couple of notes here. Okay? In this drawing here, when we did this a couple of years ago, I made it 15 feet, okay, as top of footing, but let's just make it 6, okay, just like we did. You're gonna mimic, you can see here, it says, use the same sizes as used in today's lecture, okay, so you can use the same. Now, if you wish to, but the other class was complaining because some of the elements were pretty big, considering the size of our building. If you wish to use different size columns, different size trusses, different size whatever, feel free to do so. Okay? If you want to just stick to the sizes we did in class, by all means. Okay, so I'm not too worried about the size. I am worried about the type. I still want you to use the same type, but you could revise the size of anything if you wish. Okay? All exterior walls are to be structural load bearing. So again, if you look at this exercise here for your assignment, you'll notice there are no columns, supporting columns along the outsides. Okay, so no supporting columns along. The columns only exist on the inside. Okay, that means no supporting column means no supporting beams going this way. Okay, do not put a beam on top of an existing exterior wall. Okay? Which means, okay, no piers on the outside like we had in our assignment. Okay, so bear that in mind. Okay, your exterior wall is a structural member. Now, there will be one area in your drawing. You can see it right here. Do you remember that little jog that we did and I told you to actually flatten it out? Okay, I told you not to put the chamfer in there. Okay? You cannot, in that small area, you cannot put a beam system or even a beam, an open web steel joist. I'm just going to leave it empty. Okay, the reason being is it's too short an area. Okay, those beams that we've selected do not come in that shortness. Okay, so just leave that. You just have the large structural beams, but not the open web steel joists in that area. Any questions? Yes.
So we're just following like the exact same steps.
Pretty much. Yep, that's why I got you to save it, so you follow the exact same steps. Now, obviously, there is no sloped roof here. Okay, so but remember, okay, for this first floor right here, you need to drop these beams down. For the second floor or the roof level, you do not drop those beams down. Okay, because roofs go upwards, floor slabs go downwards. Okay, so please remember that. All right. Also, when you do the floor plan on the base, like when you do the beams on the lower level, they're exactly the same as the beams on the roof level. So you could do them and then do a copy. Okay, copy it to the roof level. But remember, the ones on the top are not dropped down. Okay, the ones at the bottom are dropped down. Okay. Any questions? Sorry? Yeah, you do the beams on the first floor and then paste them up to the roof level. But you gotta remember, okay, you may want to do the paste before you drop your beams down. Okay? Because the ones at the top should not be dropped. Alright. Alright, rest of the time is yours. This is due before the start of our next class, please. Okay, so next week we're going to take now your as-built. You now have both the architectural and structural elements of this existing office building. Okay, and next week we're going to create 3 drawings. We're going to create your as-built, we're going to create your demolition, and then you're going to design your partition plan. Okay, this is where your new design comes in. Okay, those are the 3 drawings we'll be working on next week. Okay, so please make sure you have this available next week. Everything incorporated. All right, rest of the time is yours.